One time I got thrown out of my bunk and we had a driver that wasn't paying attention. It was raining. Our bus ended up skidding sideways.
Oh my gosh.
And we were like inches from a Corvette in front of us. And I just knew that is not the guy I want to be.
Well, take me into how you got the gig with Prince. He was known for never stop working, right?
Next level. Prince was the pinnacle level that all of them would want to follow if you wanted to be the best of the best. I'm the only guy on the Prince tour that never signed an NDA.
Oh my gosh.
We're staying in 5-star hotels. First time we stayed at one, I was like, my bus needs to be like that. I started folding the tissue. I started folding the towels. I'd go get the flowers out of catering and I'd put it in a vase. I made that bus a 5-star hotel.
What are some of the responsibilities that you as a driver are responsible for?
Doing your homework. Because if you do your homework, it'll make you safer.
This is why you drove for some of the very, very best. Through bedside and virtual programs, Musicians on Call has delivered the healing power of music to over 1.2 million people in hospitals across the country. And now, MOC is looking for new volunteers to help share the joys of live music. Volunteer guides are the friendly faces who host the programs as volunteer musicians perform hopeful songs to put a smile on the faces of hospital patients, families, and caregivers. To learn more about becoming a Musicians on Call volunteer, visit www.musiciansoncall.org. Welcome to the Gigs Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Sands, founder and CEO of Gigs. And today we have a very, very special guest. We have Neville Shende. Neville is a 40-plus year transportation vet who started as a guitarist and guitar tech and moved to an elite entertainer coach driver, working with artists like Prince, Madonna, Alicia Keys, Black Sabbath, Shakira, and many more. He's also held leadership roles in fleet and driver operations, founded CDL Platinum to help develop the next generation of drivers, and wrote The Entertainer, Bus Driver, and Inside Look, Concert Tour Transportation. Neville, welcome.
Thank you, Nikki. It's so awesome to be here.
It's so great getting to know you over the last couple years, and we've been wanting to do this for a while, so This is, we got a lot to learn.
Finally.
Finally.
Yes. Okay.
I want to start with, you started as a musician. You started for the love of music, guitarist and guitar tech, and then you moved into driving. So take me to the start.
Well, I grew up in Winnipeg, Canada, and went to an elementary school that a famous artist came from, which was Harvest Moon. Neil Young.
Neil Young. Okay.
Neil Young.
There it is.
Okay, so this is funny because I was like 12 years old, and Neil Young went to our elementary school, and everybody knew that. And I was like, as a kid, 12 years old, I wanted to learn guitar, and I'm thinking like, well, if he could do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, like, right.
This will be fun. Well, no, it's not that easy. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. So that's where I got the bug for writing and doing music and learning the guitar, kind of self-taught. And then fast forward, hung out with a bunch of rock and roll musician people, and we started our own band called Dorian Gray back in the 80s and did, biker bars and all kinds of, we wrote our own songs, we recorded, and it didn't quite work out. Our drummer got arrested for selling drugs, and that was kind of like the breakup of the band. And then
that's never happened in this industry. I'm just saying.
Well, the funny thing is I never really got into the drug things because for me, I don't know, chemistry. When I'd smoke pot or even did coke or whatever, I went to sleep.
Oh,
it did the opposite to me. So I just never got into it. I was just more into the craft and learning and playing and, following great guitar players like Jimi Hendrix and, Led Zeppelin and got into that world. And I continued to do that. And because when the band broke up, I actually went to a place called John Marshall's School of Lutherie because I felt I loved the guitar, and I felt if I wanted to be a guitar tech or work in the industry, I should know how they're built. I should learn tonal woods, tonal qualities, how intonation works, the difference between saying have a 12 gauge and a 10 gauge string, and how you're setting the action and the height for the sound. And, is it koa wood? Is it spruce? What's a good spruce top? So I went down the rabbit hole.
That's so important.
I actually got a job with a company called Hanser Holding, which owned BC Rich Guitars at the time. And it was the best job I ever had, except it didn't pay much. It was like the worst paying job I ever had, but the best job I ever had. And my day consisted of 100 guitars coming in, imported BC Rich guitars. And I set up my little booth, and I just make sure there was no cold solders. I was the guy that put the little sticker with the initial on the back of the neck.
Cool. What's a cold, what did you say? Cold solder?
Cold soldering. Like if something's cold, the signal won't go through. Everything's signal flow. I actually went and took recording engineering as well, and you learn signal flow. And signal flow, it starts over here and then it ends up to Z, but it's got to go through, whether it's capacitors or resistors or whatever it's going through. It's the same thing that I teach drivers and our mechanics teach drivers. Everything's signal flow. So if you get something going amiss, or there's a knocking or something, you can figure out, or say you're driving down the road and the bus starts to slow down to 50 miles an hour. It's signal flow. There's something causing it. It could be an injector. It could be, there's multiple different things. It could be even the CPU. So we learn, or we've all, and I'm sure there's musicians out there that are or crew members that get what I'm talking about when it comes to signal flow. The thing that I'm most proud about our industry, and I think we should all run the country, is we are the best. Every tour manager, production manager, guitar tech, carpenter, front of house guy, every single one of them knows how to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And I absolutely love that about it. It makes my heart. I love that. And that's why I'll never get out of this industry, because they're my people. And we all think alike, and we all act alike, and we get reliability. We get trustworthiness. We get that it's never, that's just their job. No, we're all pitching in. You'll notice that with the successful ones in the industry. Everyone's willing to learn and pitch in.
Well, successful. Also, what I love is the successful ones know every single section of the industry too, of everyone's role.
Right.
You wanted to be a good guitar tech, and so you learned what is a good guitar, so that you could really know the difference, so you could prove your chops. I mean, I think that's the other difference, is like the passion and the drive, not just doing it to be on stage or whatever.
You're absolutely correct. And you find a lot of people, as a truck driver or a bus driver, you don't necessarily have to be a musician, but we all love music, right? Yeah. And I've always said music is the vibrational manipulation of the soul. And what it is that the vibrational frequencies, like I had a friend of mine, Jürgen, who grew up in World War II, Germany, and he could not stand heavy bass. He worked on Canal films. He was a painter and set designer. And he just couldn't, like if I was blasting something that was bass, I could see he got uncomfortable. So every time he was around, I'd high up the treble and lower the bass wouldn't. So, which made me understand. And the reason it was is because he was a child when they were bombing Berlin.
Jeez.
So those frequencies were associated with something very negative for him. Wow. It's pretty cool.
What? When I was on the bus, we would play like song roulette, where you would go around the bus as we're going wherever, and get to play whatever song you want. And this one guy would play like death metal all the time. And I can respect it. Yeah, man, whatever. But I was like, damn, this is intense. Yeah. And I would always play like, I don't know, Doobie Brothers or Lynyrd Skynyrd, and I would just like really upbeat. And he was like, man, Nikki, I just can't listen to your music. It's just, I'm not happy enough to listen to it. I was like, oh shit, it's the vibration.
I have to share something with you that's an observation that I've learned. Some people have asked me, like, what's the worst tour you ever blah, 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 or who treated you not so cool? And it was actually a Christian artist. And I'm not dissing all Christian art, because we have some awesome Christian artists that actually walk the walk. But it was this couple, and it was crazy, because I'll never forget, I called my wife and I was like, I'm ready to grab the Gideon Bible and throw it at these people. And just like, it's like, read the thing.
Yeah.
And you're playing these mega churches and stuff. And the best people I've ever been out with are, it's like Type O Negative and friggin' heavy metal bands and like, because, and here's what I figured is that heavy metal bands, you're doing drop D or half step down and going through Marshalls. You get the vibrational frequency of angst. You release it.
So
if you release that angst, what's left? niceness.
Whoa.
Good people. Ronnie James Dio was one of the nicest guys. Man, I'm hugging you right now, Ronnie. It's like one of the nicest dudes that I drove him for about 4 years, and I just love the man. But yeah, he'd get out there and do it, and what was left was nothing but love. It's awesome.
That is you're on the frequency of angst, but you get it out. Wow. I'm actually going to need to probably listen to some more angst. It might help me
it's
out.
A release thing. Well, there's different ways of releasing your angst too.
Yeah.
I do Tai Chi, 7 minutes Tai Chi every morning, and it just grounds me to get my day started, right?
Oh. Do you do it barefoot in the yard?
No, I do barefoot, not in the yard. I do it where people can't see me.
Okay. I love watching the one guy just doing Tai Chi in the park, that's...
I'm a little conscious. I don't want someone going like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're off on a million places. This is awesome though. No,
so the guitar tech thing.
Guitar tech. Yeah. So getting us back on.
So I got a job with BC Rich Guitars and I was working in that job, not getting paid much. And I remember Rat came in and there was this band, Blessed Union came in, and they'd come in, for guitars or amps or whatever. And they gravitated to me for some reason. And I can't remember if it was Elliot or one of them said, man, you should come on the road with us. And
really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, cool.
It's literally just your vibe and your attitude.
It was like, that's interesting because I've had tour managers tell me like, yes, you want a great driver, knows smooth and safety and knows his equipment. But a lot of them tell me I want someone that's a good hang. And because it's a road family, right? You live with these people. You're 8 months on the road or 9 months on the road and you're in this confined little hotel on wheels. You better be a nice dude or a girl or just like have a good vibe that works with people. And you can have your bad days, but have more good days than bad days.
My new saying is you want to hire the person that you're okay with an 8-hour delay of your flight and just hanging out in the airport.
That's a good point.
Because if you don't want to hang out with them, why do you want to work with them?
Yeah. But I got to add this too, because I love being around people that we can be in silence too. Oh yeah. But there's a vibe of comfortability in that silence. It's not like I have to keep entertaining you or I got to keep, because there are those where you're constantly like, I got to entertain these people. I got to hold the conversation. I got to pull. No, there are people like Prince was one where I loved the hang with him and he would sit up in the jump seat and read his Jet magazine and stuff. And we'd have conversations because the funny thing is I'm bringing up the Prince thing. I remember telling him I thought I was going to be an airplane chaser, and because he rode the bus all the time. Okay. And he explained to me why is basically because if he got on an airplane, he got to a location, he's going to get bombarded by people. So he never had a cell phone. So he used my cell phone or Scotty's cell phone. And he would just, that space, and he went on long rolls with me, 975-mile runs, like stuff where you think you would drop him off at the airport and he would go. But no, he loved the bus. The bus became his home, and it was a space where no one could get a hold of him.
Oh, so you had to be a good hang.
You had to be a good. Well, and the other thing I say it's so important, it's not just a bus driver, but it's crew and everybody, is read the room. Read the room. No space and distance and stuff, and not right up in people, and be tactful. Yeah. Yes. Tone it down sometimes.
Yeah, you can. If you can kind of tell someone's not doing great, read it. Reading the room. There needs to be like a masterclass on that, because that is. But I think that you can't learn it. You have in a class. You have to actually experience it to understand it.
I think you can teach someone. Like that'll go into like my course thing is like teaching people by giving them assignments instead of a quiz thing. You're saying, okay, here's your homework for the day, or this is your action step today. And that's what I do in my course. It's a 30-day course. But the reason the course was inspired was, training and hiring drivers. I was hiring, when I originally was an operations manager, hiring people based on skill set. Yeah. Which didn't necessarily work all the time. It was like a hit and miss. And then when I readjusted myself to hire people based off of character and that I can teach you the skill set, that's where we started becoming very successful. Wow. And the other thing is when you find people like that, whether it's crew or a bus driver or whatever, and you take them in, the loyalty is amazing because they know it deep down intrinsically in their soul. They know this person took time and effort and believed in me.
Yes.
And that's where you get your true loyalty.
Wow.
You know, instead of hiring some guy, I got 20 years experience. Then you're getting the 20 years of knucklehead stuff that's involved in that as well. That is harder to strip down or shed from their character.
And that's the character. Wow, that's interesting. So would you prefer more of a newbie then?
Yes.
To okay.
At this point, yes. But I mean, in our world with commercial driving, we can't, because of insurance constraints, we cannot hire anyone unless they have at least 2 years of commercial driving experience. And my course, it's a 30-day course, is specifically to train commercial drivers, whether bus or truck, that want to get into the concert touring sector. And it's almost like an onboarding course. And I would highly recommend, if to audience or anyone, tour managers, production managers that know drivers out there that aren't necessarily in the concert touring industry, number one, get the book first.
Yeah.
And tell them to read the book because it'll give them a whole.
Let's see it. Let's see the book.
So I would say, definitely tell them to get this book and read it before they make it, because it's a different world. It's not like you can hire a guy from US Trailways or you can bring a guy from Swift or Schneider's and say, hey, you're going to drive production for Taylor Swift. You can't do that. Like, it's a whole different higher level. And you have to hone these guys in on a proper, like, I started hiring drivers, even if they were experienced, and put them in as co-drivers, relief drivers.
Yeah.
It was like, no, you're starting off as a co-driver for me because that's my way of figuring out if you're a fit. And your way also, I'm doing you a favor to see if you're a fit, if we're a fit for you.
Right.
So it is like, start you as a team driver. And then I have drivers that have excelled. Like, I can tell, like, within 3-4 weeks of whatever they're doing, I got drivers calling me, you got to find this guy a bus. You got to put this guy in.
Really?
This guy
Okay, what is it? What are the
level.
things that you see?
The it factor, I would say the it factor, and this is in my book too. I kind of trademarked
love this.
It's like GREAT, GREAT.
Yep.
Right? And GREAT stands for good, reliable, energetic, accountable, and trustworthy. And if you have those factors in your character, you are going to make a great bus driver, truck driver, guitar tech, carpenter, whatever, on tour. You will actually be a great hang. And
in 4 weeks of co-driving,
yes,
is that easy to spot, or do all of those things come out of the accountability, energetic? You see those.
Yes. And the other thing that you want to see is a person that, I'll give you an example. This weekend I had the phone, right? And I had one of our drivers, his mother-in-law just passed away. And this is while I was at the Sphere watching the Fish show, and my phone's going off.
Golly.
And I'm like, oh.
You're like, wait, can I?
But yeah, can I call you back? But anyways, his mother-in-law passed away. So I had to pull the trigger to find a driver to fly into Boise.
Got it.
Well, the driver that I had, found, I had a number of drivers come back, and Chip called me and stuff. What I loved about it is he understood my situation, where I was, so he follows me on Facebook. And he was like, dude, I got the ball. I'm running with it. And he ran with it. I didn't have to do anything. Wow. Travel agent, I put him in touch with the tour manager. He just took the ball. I love veterans like that. And that's what you're looking for. Even as a team driver, you want someone that you don't have to hold their hand.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to ask me a question. If you don't know something, definitely ask. Mm-hmm. But learn. I don't need you asking the same question a whole bunch of times. Like, or a multiple number of times, you should know that, okay, I need to call the driver. I need to call this. I need to make sure. And if you have a suggestion, I've had drivers going, hey, we're flying you into Cleveland. And the guy's like, hey, why don't you fly me into Buffalo? Because they're actually rolling through there.
Yes.
Which makes a lot of sense. It's like, because sometimes I'm so busy, I'm not thinking about those things. So yeah, I'm totally open. If you see a better way, just share it with me.
Oh, that's so good. And that's also, it's like you have to learn it, but you also have to want it. And so those people who are like, actually, this is a better move, they're in the right seat. Right. It's interesting because a lot of the tour bus drivers were and are musicians.
Yes.
Is that a natural progression? Because I know it's a great paying gig.
Right.
You still get to live the road life. Like, take me through, actually, let's go back. So you get your first gig.
Yeah.
as a guitar tech.
Well, I got my first gig with Blessed Universal.
Yes,
She Likes Me for Me and all that, and love those guys.
Yeah.
So my world, when I came in, I was already one of the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me to transition into a good hang was very easy.
Yeah.
Because I had understanding of music and musicians and the love of guitar, etc. So when I went on the road, that just translated into a good hang and doing my job. Like I was working at BC, I was a good guitar tech. I knew what I was doing, and I proved that I was at that higher level, that I could attain that level as a guitar tech. And the money was great. I was on a $300 retainer when we weren't doing flying and stuff. But
nice.
What happened was there was a driver called Bobby Edwards, drove an Eagle, and he was our bus driver. And he got sick one time and couldn't drive. And I'll never forget, we were pulled over on the side of the road, and you're sleeping in the bunk. Now you feel like you've been sitting still for a while, and you're wondering, are we here?
Yeah.
That wasn't so he had like a bucket where he was like really not feeling good.
Oh, no.
And I asked him, are you all right? And and he's like, man, I can't drive. And I was like, well, you want me to drive? And he was going, what do you mean? You have to have a commercial driver's license. I said, I have one.
Nuh-uh.
And it was like, it was almost like he got mad at me. Why didn't you tell me that? I was like, well, I can, if you want me to. And like from me, I used to drive tanker trucks when I went to college.
No way.
My dad got me a job with the Manitoba Department of Highways, and I drove a water tanker. So I actually, and my dad always told me, you have your CDL, don't get rid of it, because you never know. It's an asset to have. You never, and in my mind, I'm never going to drive a truck. I don't want to, like I did that for money in the summer. And I also worked for the post office. I drove truck for them too.
Oh my gosh.
So I had my CDL, and I drove, I think it was almost 3 days of like guitar teching and driving. Bobby got better. And so fast forward, 9/11 happened, and all our fly dates got canceled. So I'm sitting in Cincy going like, what am I going to do? And I get this phone call. This is funny. Aerosmith Just Push Play tour manager, English accent guy, calls me and tells me, Aerosmith, we got a bus that can't get through the border. And I hung up on him because I thought it was a joke. I was like,
yeah, right.
And then a phone call comes right back. It's like, no. It's like, hey, Rob, this is for real. So I end up working for, and they only said it was going to be like 5 days for the Canada part. They kept me for 5 weeks.
No way.
And the reason they did that is just because I gave what I wanted. So I drove like smooth as glass, and you would come into a city and I was reading the stale greens, and when I was taking off from a green light, I'd let the idle take me up instead of putting my foot on the pedal right away. I was like, if I did if I did lane changes, it was 10 Mississippis. It was like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Like I would just gentle and do the NASCAR curves, because I knew what I wanted. I didn't tell you this, but one time I got thrown out of my bunk. I used to sleep in the top driver's side, and we had a driver that wasn't paying attention. It was raining. Our bus ended up skidding sideways, and I fell out of the bunk.
Oh my gosh.
And we were like inches from a Corvette in front of us. It was like crazy. And I'll never forget, like in hindsight, I'm looking at it, it's like, how didn't you see the brake lights?
Right.
Well, I know how he didn't see. He wasn't paying attention. Yeah. He's probably looking at his phone or doing, who knows what he was doing. And I just knew that is not the guy I want to be ever.
Wow. You want to be catering to what you would want in a bunk.
100%.
But damn, do you care about people?
I love people.
Yeah.
I love one thing. I'll give you the love.
Let's hear it.
Acronym, which is, or it's not an acronym, but I say the more you love life, the more life loves you back. It's a two-way street. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't mean I don't have a bad day, but when I have a bad day, let it go. Yeah. Let the angst out. Listen to some death metal or something,
I'm going to actually have to start doing that. Wow.
Just, Pretty Reckless is a good one to crank up.
Done. Yeah. I'm actually going to just send you a video next time I'm like crying and just start headbutting.
I'm letting it out.
Yeah, I'm letting it out. Now I'm happy. But I mean, that gets down to then vibration, and truly you get what you give. Yeah. Like always. That's pretty amazing. And so you ended up with Aerosmith for 5 weeks up there. And I guess that really helps that you were Canadian. So getting over the border is not an issue.
Yeah, I'm dual. I got both.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So that's great. So you're up there for 5 weeks. What's next?
Well, 5 weeks, and then the amount of money they were making, drivers were making quadruple of what I was making as a guitar tech. Oh, so it was kind of like, okay, I see how this thing works. So I ended up, when I came back with the bus, it was like the bus company. It was can't remember who it was, but I just never stopped. It was like a comeback, and then the next thing, hey, I want to put you on. I went out with Clarence Gatemouth Brown, and I loved him. He was like traveling with my uncle. He was just like the coolest blues guy. If you ever see Blues in a Bottle, it's Clarence. And we used to sit out. I actually have a guitar that he and I would play. He'd sit on the porch. The other guys would go away somewhere, and me, I love people. So if he was alone, I would be like, hey, you want to go? I'd like to go to the mall. Okay, come on, let's go to the mall. And, just that kind of stuff. He was great. God rest his soul. Katrina, he passed away. He lost everything. He lived in Slidell, Louisiana. And I remember calling I was out with Papa Roach, and I called him to check on him. And his sister answered his phone and told me he was, he was safe. He was with her, but he wasn't feeling good. And he shortly passed away after that. I think it just kind of killed him.
Jeez.
But I just, after that, Aerosmith, I was just driving. And I never got back to guitar teching, even though I'd hang out with guitar techs at the shows and going like, man, I miss this world. I love this world. But
you can still see the shows if you wanted, right?
Well, most of the time, like drivers don't.
Yeah, you're sleeping.
Like, no, you're sleeping. If you got like a three days of a show, maybe you come the second show and hang out and check it out. But most of the time, you got work to do. You're hired to basically get there at midnight, 1 o'clock, and drive all night safely and bring them to the next. And it, repeat.
What are some of just to get kind of nitty gritty, what are some of the responsibilities that you as a driver to get them to city? Is that involved?
Now we're talking about entertainer drivers. Number one, like if you were going, or if I was getting ready to go on a tour, I would, number one, look at the routing and have all the this is at home, right? Doing my homework on all the routings. In my book, I actually have one of the assignments is whatever your run is, I want you to go to Google Map and do the entire run street level on Google Map. And this comes in handy, especially when you're going to places like Montreal or Quebec, and you got these strange roads and you're trying to, so if you Google Map that on a street level, it'll stick it. You go, oh yeah, I remember I saw Tim Hortons and it was just the lights right after that I take the left. And you can see things better and then get that bird's eye view and that to me is the most important thing, is doing your homework. Because if you do your homework, it'll make you safer. And the other thing is I'll give you an example. This is like Ray Waddell from Oakview Group and Doug Roundtree, my CEO with Pioneer. When we do these Polestar trips, we hired Gooch. He was our driver, but I also drive. Wayne can drive and Doug Oliver drives, so we split the load. Well, Ray actually spoke to me this time around and wanted to make sure I was driving at night so that they could sleep. Because I'm one of the drivers, because he gets it. He knows, because when we were going there, I did a day drive. Yeah. But then at the night drives, and I'll give you an example. We were coming through Arkansas, and the speed limit was 75, but I literally was going 50, 55 because it was washboard. It was like doing one of these things. And so I backed it. I threw the hazards on, and I just took it, and it was a good, maybe 10 miles of doing that. And then once it smooths out, boom, hammer in. So you're adjusting yourself to the road. And a poor driver would probably either just have it locked in cruise, or his mindset is, I just want to get there. And he would just tolerate the thing, meaning all the people that they're not sleeping.
Yeah.
No.
Ooh, and this is why you drove for some of the very, very best.
Well, I gave them I remember with Prince, we were going around a Cloverleaf, and I counted, there was like 15 cars behind me. And then finally, when I came out of the Cloverleaf, it was like, the horns honk. It's like, and my head, you ain't paying me. This guy is. And I'm going to make sure he can sleep. And that's probably why he stayed on the bus all the time. He was like, no, I'm going to ride the bus. I don't need a plane. I think he went on a private plane maybe twice the entire Musicology Tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, take me into how you got the gig with Prince, and I kind of want to get into those stories.
Well, Okay,
keep going. I don't want to fast forward.
So I'm driving, Aerosmith, and I get to do these other like Stereo Mud and Papa Roach and Disturbed, and I'm one of the guys. I just hang but I'm the driver, and I look after them, and they get it. And this guy's smooth, and we want Nev, and I get requested all the time back. But what it is right at that point, I was at the level of being one of the, blending with the crew, and I'm a good hang. Prince taught me to go to that next level. He taught me professionalism at a 5-star level and beyond. And he was hard. He was the guy was, asked Takumi. He used to be his guitar tech for 10-something years. I love Takumi. Shout out, buddy. But you had to learn from him, and you had to do what was necessary to give that upper level. I'll just give you an example because, and this is observation. Like we talked earlier about reading the room.
Yeah.
And when you read the room, not just reading the room, read the entire environment, which is like we're staying in 5-star hotels, like upper 5-star with white gloves and places where I can't afford the food. So I'd be, have to figure out where to go.
Totally.
Where's the McDonald's?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Coming in with a McDonald's bag at this 5-star hotel thing. But it was like when you walk in there and you got the room and there's a dove on your towel and, the paper. So what I did, the first time we stayed at one, I was like, my bus needs to be like that.
Ooh.
So I started doing it. I started folding like the tissue. I started folding the towels. I learned all that. And I remember some of the drivers used to make fun of me, but I would go down to catering and because afterwards they would just throw the flowers out. So I'd go get the flowers out of catering and I'd put it in a vase. I made that bus look like you walk on that bus. It's like a 5-star hotel. And I'd fold the toilet paper and I'd put a gold sticky dot on it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I did the whole.
Not that you could even use it in the bus.
But yeah.
Really?
But and then when I did the sheets, I'd put a Hershey's Kiss or a Lifesavers on the thing, which was the signature that it was done. If we stopped somewhere, I would map out, I remember being on a tour, who was it? Love Starbucks. So I'd always figure out where the Starbucks is. Like for Prince, it was Java Juice or whatever. And if there was one close by, I'd, write a note and say, hey, there's Java or there's a vegan restaurant, blah, blah, blah. And you just, it's being considerate,
Above and beyond, though. Then not many people do this. That's above and beyond.
I hope my drivers all do this. I hope they do that next level. Like when I was with a crew bus, I'll never forget, like you pull in, it's messy, whatever. You pull in at 3, 4 in the morning to fuel up and I'd tidy up and clean the whole thing. But then when I saw like radios sitting on like they forgot to put their radios in charge, I'd collect all the radios and put them in the charger for them. So when they woke up in the morning, hey, guess what? It's recharged.
It's recharged.
Everything. It's just consideration, right?
Thinking of others. It's thinking of what it's the same theme of how would you want to be treated?
Right.
And that's how you did it.
And that's how you get called back. That's called job security.
Yeah, true
you
that.
Create, and I probably wouldn't have been promoted into operations or brought in that if I wasn't that level on the road in my previous position. And I probably wouldn't have been if I didn't have the passion, learn tonal woods and go. It's that whole thing that once you figure it out, it's kind of, you get this aha moment and then it just becomes you. And then you see when you love it, it loves you right back.
And also, down to the 5-star hotel treatment of there's a reason Prince stays there. He likes that.
Yeah.
Let's make his home that as well.
100%.
And that's all you. There's no one else making that a home except for you.
Right.
And that's pretty amazing.
I got so many Prince stories.
Let's get into it. Okay. So the biggest thing you've learned from Prince is to go that, because he was known for never stopping working, right?
Next level. Absolute next level. Like I have never, whether it was Alicia, all of them, Madonna, Prince was the pinnacle level that all of them would want to follow if you wanted to be the best of the best. And his talent was absolutely insane. There was one time where he went missing for a while at Paisley Park, and he ends up showing up he went to Guitar Center to get a banjo, and he ends up being in the studio, and I think security was looking for him, and they thought he had Earl Scruggs or somebody called in. That's how quick he could learn an instrument. It was just he had a God-given gift. Yeah. It was just he was blessed with this talent beyond anybody else that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And I mean, every show this is the stuff. I ended up being the guy who would go into the hotel rooms and make sure the windows were blacked out properly. He trusted me with his laptop to make sure I'd hooked the laptop up to Wi-Fi and it was connected, because he trusted me. I gave him a person that he could completely trust. And I was honored to have that ability and to be that, playing pool with him and all kinds of hearing the stories, him listening to me, all those kind of things. But the level of detail that he went, there was a time where, like when I first picked him up and we were at a venue, and I think it was Chicago, I can't remember, but I'll never forget, he got up and we had a regular microwave. And he asked me, he said, "We don't have a convection oven? This isn't a convection oven?" I said, "No, it's just a microwave." He goes, "Okay." And he went off to do the show. Guess what I did?
Bought a convection oven.
Instantly. I figured out where the Best Buy was, friggin' took the measurements, how deep it is, pulled it out.
Let's go.
Put the other one in. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to bed. I'm just like, bingo. And Mom would make me tear up. No. And he comes in. I'll never forget it. He walks in. He's the little guy, right? Yeah. Walks in, walks to the back. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I can hear he just like stops, turns around, comes back, taps me on. "Thank you, Neville. Thank you so much." And then he goes back. And that was probably like, he's like, dude, this guy is next level.
Considerate. He's thinking about next level.
Well, there was another place where, because he had a problem with his hip, right? One leg was shorter than the other, and he, had hip issue things. And I just pick up on this stuff. And we went to a hotel. Sometimes we'd be in the back in the secret area, and sometimes it'd be in the front. The security, we would meet that. And I can't remember what city it was, but it was a pretty big curb. I literally jumped up on the curb. I had Scotty get out and say, "Hey, stop these people." And I jumped up on the curve so that I would just be really close to the front steps, because there was a couple steps going up. So I literally had this bus blocking the sidewalk so that Prince could just get off, walk. And then I had, just like the security, because Scotty would go in with him, had the other hotel security, "Hey, can you just watch me back up?" So that I could go back into traffic, and then I would go park where I needed to. And I wasn't asked, I just knew that this was stuff that it's reading the room. It's reading your client too.
Reading your client, going above and beyond for them so that they trust, feel comfortable, and they want to keep hiring you. And they want to keep coming back to you.
Exactly.
Thinking ahead of them. And I can imagine you are then in communication constantly with the tour manager and with security.
Oh, 100%.
How did that work?
Oh, it's funny. Well, again, I couldn't state this enough. It's like reading the room and reading the person and reading the busyness. Like if I was going into the tour management office and they're slammed with all kinds of different things, I'm going to read that. I'm not going to interrupt. I might leave and then come back. Like on the Prince tour, though, I was accountable to Prince. Mm-hmm. All I was doing was communicating more or less with the head of security at the venue and with the security that was on the bus. And Prince was a vegetarian. He would eat fish. He would have wine, really nice wine. I had beautiful wine glasses on there. And Manny at the time, his wife, would come on the bus. She'd cook for me. This is where we had tofu, and she was really nice. But she wasn't out all the time. So it was mostly me and one security guard and Prince. So I can't remember what show it was, but we were there for Soundcheck. We pulled in for Soundcheck, but he didn't get off the bus, and he didn't want to. And so Scotty goes and lets the venue know, hey, he's not getting off the bus, and he's just sitting. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Is there a lake around here?" And I was like, I can look. And I'm looking at the GPS and I see a big blue spot and I'm going, I guarantee that's a lake. He says, let's go. I'm like, okay. Hey, you're the boss. Scotty isn't on there. It's just me and Prince.
Oh my gosh.
And so I back up and go, pass through the gate, going out there. And all of a sudden I'm getting a phone call going like, where the hell are you guys going? And so I picked up my cell and I was going, where the hell are you guys going? Oh, he wants me to take him to, Prince comes up and said, hang up.
Oh my gosh.
He said, hang up now. I said, I got to go. So I hung up and then we end up at this lake and pulled up on the side and he was just wanting to look at the lake and look out the window. And I don't know, maybe it's just not in the mood to go. So we're missing Soundcheck.
No way.
We're missing, he's just hanging out at a lake. My phone is buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. And I can't. So I kind of text and say, hey, I'll give you guys a code. And I say, I'll call you. And then I'll just press a key. And that means we're getting ready to leave. And then I'll call you again. And when I hit it 5 times, it means we're 5 minutes out. So I did that.
Morse code.
We had this code going the entire tour. And what would happen is because he was vegetarian, and I didn't agree with this part, what he did, but they would feed, bacon, eggs, and good food because you got your jumpers and the riggers and all these guys, and they're working hard. You can't expect everybody to go on tofu, you know what I mean? Or fish on a Friday, whatever it is. So what we did was we set up this thing where I would leave, or say Prince goes, okay, we're leaving. It's 1 o'clock or it's in the morning. We just pull the hotel. He wants to go. What he was doing was he was going to the first thing he'd do is jump on the golf cart and go to catering and make sure that, because he was controller, right?
Wow.
So he wanted to make sure they weren't feeding meat or anything like that.
Way.
So what we would do, this is great, because catering would then later, because Scotty liked eating meat too, and they would do a concealed thing of steak and mashed potatoes for me and the security guard, and they would put it in the bay of the bus so it was sealed so you can smell it, because they knew we wanted to eat. Yeah, we need to eat. But this will get to another cool story. But anyways, this is the Prince episode.
I love it.
Sorry, I'm just using it because as an example.
This is so cool.
Because I contribute him for helping me get to that next level.
I love this.
Where my successes come from. So we would leave to go, and I knew what we were doing. We were going to do this thing, and he wouldn't want to call anybody. So I would call, and venue security would pick it up, and it says, "What's going on?" And I would just and then hang up, and he would know.
Oh my
and then as soon as we're 5 minutes out, I'd call again, and because I couldn't say anything. So I would and then I'd hit the little thing, meep, 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 and he knows I'm 5 minutes out. And they loved, I'll never forget pulling up there, and he's like,
we got
you are awesome. You're the best. We're keeping you. We're keeping this guy.
How does Prince think that you were communicating? Did he know any of this or
no? Well, I couldn't let him know that part.
Right.
But I communicated if it was something that Prince could hear the communication, or if it was loud in the communication, then I would if he told me, hey, call so and so, and then okay, I'm. Call so I can have a conversation. And a lot of times he'd have me call somebody and then he'd take the phone from me and he'd talk.
Oh my gosh.
So he's he would use my phone for calling people.
But then, I've been thinking security reasons. What if he's no, don't tell my security guard. You're yeah, but what if something happens to him? That's on you.
He does do that. I wasn't going to let anything. I'm a Tai Chi guy.
That's true.
I did a keto. And, I'm not saying that fully protect, but I wouldn't let anything happen to him. There's no way. There was one time where I almost got fired. This is interesting because security guard wanted to fire me, and it was. Well, I won't say the name, but anyways, wanted me gone because this was when we were doing that 975-mile run, and I had to stop for fuel. And it was probably 4 o'clock in the morning where I stopped at a Petrol for fuel. And Prince, he's up and he asked me, he's like, are you going to go in and pay? I said, yeah, I got to go in and pay for fuel. And he says, well, I want to go with you. Okay. So I said, give me a minute. I got to finish fueling and then I'm going to pull the bus up and we can go in. So I pulled the bus up and then popped the brake and he comes with me. I follow what he wanted.
Yeah.
Not now I got to call the wake up so-and-so and da-da-da. And so we're We're in a Petrol. I paying for the fuel, and he's loading the counter up with stuff that he wants, like chips or whatever. It was just like loading little things, and he's walking around. And I remember hearing truck drivers going, "Oh my God, that's Prince! Oh my God, that's Prince!" Yeah. And I follow him. I wasn't going to let anything happen to him, and if I read it that something was wrong, and so the security guard comes off. We've already had all this stuff on the counter and stuff, and I guess he finally figured out that, oh my God, Prince isn't on the bus. Now I get where he was coming from, and I probably should have. And if you're out there, wake up the security guard. But at the time, it was just, I had that relationship with Prince. By that time, we were already friends, and I loved the guy, and he trusted me, right? So we do that, and he came in there and freaking glared at me like,
oh, I bet.
And he went, like I was done, right? And all of a sudden, my whole energy dropped. Here I am loving that, what I'm doing. I feel like I'm part of the team. And this is probably 2-3 months into the tour. And I'm already like part of the family, right? I thought, I'm getting fired now. I'm going to have to go home, and then I got to explain, I'll get another gig and stuff. So I'm walking up to the bus, coming in with the bags of goodies and stuff, and he steps off the bus and rips me a new one and told me I'm flying home and you are gone. You're gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is how strong a connection you can have with an artist as a star driver when you look after and you go that next level. I felt terrible, and I felt this big. I almost wanted to cry, and opened the door. And as soon as, he opens the door to get on, all I hear in a very stern voice is Prince says his name and calls him in the back, like, and made him come up and apologize to me and say that he was sorry. Guess who went home the next day?
No way.
That security guard. And then that's when Scotty, the other security guard, became the personal security guard.
Well, that's a test of Prince to say, I'm the boss. You're not the boss.
Well, he is the boss.
Exactly.
He is the boss. And I would never do anything to jeopardize that, and you know me, I just love people. I just want it. So I'm going to protect them too, and give them everything and anything that they ask and want and need. And I'm going to do that. So from that point on, the tour went great.
Wow.
And he asked me to stay on. He wanted me to be his. I have a friend of mine that drives Trey on Fish. And he got a great gig. And we saw him at the Sphere when we were there. And his name's Bo Meek. And his gig now, he wasn't even there with his bus. He was there as the black car driver. And that's what Prince wanted, was like, yes, you're my bus driver, but I also want you as my black car driver. The only problem, I remember Takumi told me, he said, who do you want to be married to, your wife or Prince? And I was like, because it'll be 3:00 in the morning and you're going to be doing everything. Because once you're his, and he's going to, and that's the level, because he doesn't know any other level than it goes to 11.
It's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine Prince's wife had to be pretty understanding of that too.
Well, she had a miscarriage, and then after that they divorced. But
really?
She was a sweetheart. Yeah, she was.
But I mean, if someone is truly married to their work like that's hard to maintain a relationship.
110%. But that's why everyone was fortunate enough to have the gift of his music. And we still have it. And you listen to all his albums. And I love that, like the story about like Purple Rain, him telling me about the symbol.
Tell me. Let's go. I don't remember this.
It's about the symbol, because he was actually in a board room, like they were suing him. This is like, because it was like, you have to, and the record companies were trying to get him to regurgitate Purple Rain. But he, as an artist, would just move on. He's amazing, because he believed in that, let the baker bake the bread, right? That kind of mentality. And it's like, I'm the artist, let me make my art.
Right.
I don't need some boardroom guy from, Warner telling me what songs I need to put or whatever. And that's how he was. And in that sense, when they were going through the suit, because you remember they had the artist formerly known and all that he was going through those lawsuits. Well, in the boardroom, he basically drew the symbol and said, sue that.
Oh, the Prince symbol?
But because what they were doing is he was under contract as Prince. So he wasn't allowed, if he was going to make music, he couldn't title it Prince.
Oh my gosh.
Because they owned it. It's like you signed this contract. It's Prince. You cannot use your own name.
That's crazy.
Prince Roger Nelson's your name. You can't use Prince. We own that. So you can't. So that was the whole lawsuit that was going on. That's why, like, even on the Musicology Tour in 2004, where he's saying that thing, Warner used to be a friend of mine. Now they're just a monumental waste of time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got that from that. It's like
they're a mafia, man.
He is. I know all my songwriter friends absolutely love Prince because he was one of those people that fought for the artist to maintain their rights.
Yes.
Like, we could get into a whole different chapter. My buddy Terry Sawchuk wrote this book called Sold for a Song, and it's about songwriters regaining their value, regaining their worth. Because, when we get into the corporate thing and you sign away your publishing rights and that kind of stuff. It's artists sometimes have to, and Prince was a perfect example of that. Is like, this is mine. I'm keeping the rights to this because it's my craft. It's my, if I want to make an album that's completely jazz, I'm going to make an album completely jazz. If I want to make an album that's got a lot of funk in it, I'm going to make an album. Purple Rain was back over that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I absolutely respected him for that and loved that. I'm very blessed to even be able to tell you these stories about that. And there are some other great artists that I've worked with, and,
Who came after Prince?
It was Alicia. Mm-hmm. And then after Alicia wanted me to stay, they had a custom coach built for her with a different company. And this is interesting because if I would have went to that other company with her like she wanted me to, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Really?
Yeah, because I would have left Pioneer. I would have been somewhere else. So there's a form of loyalty you got to kind of figure out, okay, where am I going on this trajectory? And, do I follow the artist around or do I stay loyal to the company that I'm at?
Whoa.
For me, the loyalty has paid dividends. I mean, the ROI is great. So I didn't follow her. I stayed with Pioneer and stayed loyal.
What was that decision? How did you make that decision?
It was hard. I went to the owner actually, and I said, "Hey, Alicia they're getting a custom built coach, and I can go over there and I can try and bring her back." And that was Doug Roundtree. Literally said, "No, I don't want you to leave. Stay with me, and I'll look after you." Oh. So, and he did look after me. He did what he said. So I did stay. And Alicia, and I was able to go see, my wife's met her and we've gone to shows, and I still absolutely love her to bits because the Alicia that you see is the true, it's not fake, it's her. That was like Shakira's, like the most beautiful. Like, I love when I meet artists and their persona actually aligns with what the beauty, like Lainey Wilson, another one that absolutely, I could hug her right now. She's beautiful, beautiful. Lauren Daigle, beautiful. I love that. And then there's some other artists that it's like the persona you see here is definitely not the one that's over that way. Isn't that interesting? And I just prefer not to work with those people. I'd rather work with because I'm real and I want to work with real people. So.
And it just can make you feel, I mean, it's like that. Yeah. You just got to be in line with yourself. I think
the thing is with people like that, you're willing to go above and beyond, and even to the nth degree.
Right, there it is. That's
whereas if you're getting smacked all the time, and even though you're doing all this extra stuff, but there's no gratitude. I shared my gratitude thing with you.
Let's see it. Oh, that's it. That was the next one. Yes.
Yeah, because gratitude, I actually trademarked it. It's gratitude. This is a Nevillism. It's gratitude is the attitude that gives you altitude to rise above all worldly challenges. It's about taking that positive look and allowing yourself, whatever the situation is. And I'll give this to all my drivers too. I don't care if you broke down at 3 o'clock in the morning. Take a moment to breathe in, take an elevated look of what's going on, be grateful that you're there and everyone's safe, and then come back down and fix whatever it is. Because everything, it's all signal flow. You will find a way to fix it. Don't worry about it. Like, especially if you're with a good company that will pick up the phone at 3 a.m. and help you, and you got a team behind you. It's the same with an artist. You got a great team behind you. You got a great guitar techs and front of house guys and a great lighting designer, blah, blah, blah. And if something goes south, I guarantee you, if you have good energy, everyone will pitch in to make that thing correct itself.
100%. 100%. And like you said at the very beginning, this industry should run the country because
improvise, adapt, and overcome. And then after we do it, we hug each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if you're not a hugger, we just buy you a beer.
I haven't really met not a hugger on the road, honestly.
No?
I don't know. Maybe I just force them to hug me.
Yeah.
That's probably
I'd say 90% of us are huggers.
Yeah.
And there's the 10% that are more like the shoulder tap.
Shoulder tap. Love that. That's actually, that's respectful. This episode is brought to you by Gigs, the professional career platform for the live event industry. So if you're looking for jobs in the live event space, or if you are hiring in this industry, go to gigs.live, become a professional, become an employer, start posting jobs and applying to jobs now. Join our community of tens of thousands of professionals in this industry. We have events around the country. We have employment opportunities. We have entertainment. We have education. So join Gigs today, gigs.live. Also, please go give us a 5-star review and follow us on our socials at gigs.live. Is there any other Prince stories that you want to leave us with before we kind of move past that chapter of life?
I have tons, but I'll go with the one when I first picked him up.
Yeah.
And this kind of brings in my nickname, Nelvis, and the Elvis thing.
Is.
And when I used to play guitar, Elvis is I'm a big fan, and I loved Elvis, and I just wanted to be Elvis, right? And I played in a little 3-piece Elvis thing. I did this thing for the cancer fundraiser thing and did a bunch of things, but it was all old school Elvis, big boy Crudup, bluesy kind of Elvis, train. Yeah, it was old school Elvis. So it had a stand-up bass, simplified drums, and me on guitar. It's just a very simple.
Singing?
Yeah, me singing, and I had black leather pants, and did like sort of the 68 comeback look.
Let's go.
And I had hair then. Anyways, this is going way back. And we did this, I'll never forget, we were playing some club or something, and this drunk guy comes up to me afterwards because it was like something Elvis. And he comes up and he comes to me and he goes, and the band's there too, and he goes, "You ain't Elvis, you Nelvis," because my name was Neville. So it's like, and the band cracked up. So after that, it was just Nelvis. It never went away. It was like, "Oh, you're Nelvis. I'm
For
Nelvis."
The rest of that tour.
The rest of the tour, rest of everything. It's like freaking, I go to everybody, like even Prince called me Nelvis. And I had all these people, because on the Prince tour, this gets to that thing. So I embraced the Elvis thing so much. I had an Elvis plate that said, Tennessee, Elvis, Graceland, whatever. And it went on every one of my buses that I drove. So it would go into, you have your regular portion tag and there'd be a space for a second. And that's where Elvis went. And I remember in Philly, I got a ticket and the guy wrote Elvis plate. So I never paid it, right? Because it was a parking thing. And he wrote 1 Elvis, Tennessee. It was like, no, I ain't paying that. And so when I went to pick Prince up, first time I was told all these things. You can't look at him, can't talk to him, can't blah, blah, blah. And, everything, all the communication has to be through. And I'll tell this to everyone. You know what? Never listen to what people say. Just be yourself. Read the room, know when to step out, and give them 110% of service. And then see where it goes from there. Yes. Don't force yourself on it. You're not supposed to go back in the lounge. Hey, I'm so-and-so. No, just do your job. Be in the thing. And if you're doing such a good job, they're going to come to you because they're going to want to know who's this master of, behind the wheel. I want to know who this guy is that TCB's to the next level.
I was told, don't talk, don't, whatever. And I was like, this person's talking to me. Am I allowed to talk back? I mean, it's reading the room. If they're 100%. Talking to you, talk back. Be a normal person. Yeah, totally.
So we went to the La Jolie and I pulled in, I had to pick Prince up at the Beverly Hilton or Beverly. It was one of the hotel, really fancy place, right? Where he always stayed. But I went to the Jolie. That's where I had my room. That's where the crew and the band and everybody was, and a great hotel. Yeah. And they're very accommodating. So that's the first time I met Takumi, and he came, he wanted to see the bus, and it was a brand new Star car, had 5,000 miles on it. I put half the miles were from me getting from Nashville to California, beautiful bus. And he's walking around the bus, and he sees that Elvis plate, and he says, "Man, you're going to have to take that off." And I was like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, Prince doesn't like Elvis. You're going to have to take that off." Oh, yeah, because stealing black people's music and then bringing that. But without Elvis, I don't think they would have had the rock and roll wouldn't have really had the doors open and become mainstream.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, we'll see. I'll leave it. We'll see what happens. I'm not changing that. And if he tells me to take it off, then I'll take it off.
Nice.
So I go to the hotel like 2 hours early from my pickup. And what I did was when I brought the bus there, I scanned and I knew he was going to come out the side door. He's not going to come out the front. So I parked the bus with the door lined exactly up with the sidewalk. So, because I knew, this is all doing homework, doing research and figuring stuff out. Right. And I actually knew he liked orchids. So I bought this is back in 2004, I spent $110 or $115 on a thing of orchids that I put on there. And I wrote a hand note of like, thank you for choosing Pioneer and and just put that on the front table. And so I have the bus lined up. And I'm shining it. It's a sunny day in California. The bus is blinging, the chrome's blinging. It's looking great. And I'm polishing I think I was wiping down the mirror just to make the mirror more, so, I want this thing to bling like a diamond. And this guy is walking down the road and he's looking, this tall black guy with a white t-shirt, looked like raggedy jeans. And the way he was walking, I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, that's the last thing I need is someone hanging around while I'm supposed to be picking up Prince. Mm-hmm. So he's coming from the back of the bus and he comes up. This is so funny. It's so true. But anyways, he comes up to the back of the bus and he looks up at the bus and he goes, whose bus is this? And I said, Elvis. And he goes, Elvis is dead, man. I go, shit, no wonder I've been waiting so long. I open the door, jump on the bus, lock the door. I'm looking that you can't see in, right? And I'm going, go away, go away, go away, please go away. And he's like stands there and he's shaking his head and he disappears, right?
There you go.
Goes away. Great. About 15, 20 minutes later, I get a phone call. Hey, we're coming out. So I get off the bus. I'm dressed nice, and I get off the bus and ready to open the door so he can walk straight into on the bus. So here they are. They come. The security guard on his left side was the same guy. Now he's dressed in a black suit and he's all looking like $1 million. Same guy. And I'm like thinking to myself, oh my God, I just got tested.
Yes,
I just got tested. If I would have said something like, it would have been a phone call to say, hey, we don't need your bus. Tell them to go away. And so he comes up. This is so funny. So he comes up. I'm holding the door open. And, you're not supposed to look at him. You're not supposed to talk to him and stuff. This is Prince. He goes, nice to meet you, Neville. Gets on the bus. Scott hits me on the shoulder, like really hard too. It's like, back. He says, good job. Let's go.
Wow.
Off to the Staples Center. Yeah.
That is a test.
And that was like the click. It was like him and I from that moment, it worked.
That is just a universal truth right there is if you're in this business, you are confidential. Yep. You are not sharing who you're working for. Yep. You're not sharing where you're going, what you're doing.
I don't know if that was the reason, but I told you this earlier. I'm the only person on the Prince tour that never signed an NDA. And I don't know if he missed it, but here's the thing. I don't see Prince missing anything.
Interesting.
So it could have been just a huge trust factor. And we had a lot in common too. Like, the stories about growing up, and my dad is originally from Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm kind of like a mix, like my dad and my mom's Ukrainian. So I got like really white and I got a cocoa bean on the other side. Right. And Prince comes from the same kind of upbringing, with that mix. So it was hard, like as a kid, where we would get names and stuff and people wouldn't know. But my complexion, I was lucky enough to like, people wouldn't know. He's blending with the Jew people. He was blending with an Italian. What are you? It's like, well, I'm a mixed.
Yeah.
This is it. All of, I can blend any which way. But, Prince went through the same troubles and same. Yeah, there were similarities in our story, which was really cool.
Did you always dress, whenever I see you, you're always in like a 3-piece suit of some kind, you're always dressing well. Is that something that
came from Prince, 100%.
Tell me more.
100%, because he wanted, back in the day, it was like maybe a polo shirt and jeans.
Right.
And then running shoes because they were comfortable and stuff. And I wore black running shoes. But it came from him. He basically wanted me to buy a wardrobe so that when I picked him up, I looked sharp. I still have the tie he bought. He gave me, he dressed me.
Wow.
So I wore if we ever see the photos of me, like you had professional photographers you ever see, I don't have access to those photos, but if I am in the background in any of those photos, I got this hat on, I have a suit with a nice tie, maybe sometimes not the suit, but the white collared shirt and the dress pants and nice shoes. But once we got out and left, so that was for dropping him off and picking him up.
Got it.
But then once we got out and when I'd stop at a truck stop, I can put my jeans and a t-shirt back on and hat and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was an image thing. And I get it. It's that next level.
Next level.
Like next level.
If you want to be at that level, go there.
Yeah. And everyone around you needs to be at that level too.
Right.
Otherwise you're gone. I mean, the front of house guy, I think lasted 2 weeks or something through, and then gone. And he called me back on that because every single show for the entire tour, no one could leave. The band couldn't leave until Prince watched the entire show. And what we would do is I'd have the bus, the girls from catering would come in, had really nice food, and we would set up his food at the front. And what I would do is the front of house guy, one of the gentlemen would do the DVD and the audio, and he'd run it back to me, and I would put it in the DVD player, and I'd fast forward through it. This is your bus driver doing this. So I'd fast forward to it, and then I'd put it on pause just when the show would start.
There it is.
And then so he expected that. It was, well, I kind of created it, and then it was like expected.
That's
because
great.
Neville created it. Well, he's got to watch the show, so I'll just do here's your food. And he would come on, and then he would just push play.
Wow.
Goes back to here. But anyways, he'd just push play, and then he'd watch the entire show, and he'd make notes. Wow. When we got deeper into the tour near the end, he would fast forward through a lot because by that time he tweaked it the way he wanted it to. And I'll never forget, there was one time John Blackwell, rest his soul, great drummer, he scolded John Blackwell because John was playing in his hometown and he did this amazing drum solo, but he got off track of what Prince was very particular. All your listeners out there that have worked with him know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm giving you, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Stick to the game plan.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And here's the parts. Because otherwise he'll just grab your drumsticks and he'll show you what he wanted you to do.
Yeah, right.
If he could have cloned himself, he probably would have done the entire show himself.
But he knew what he was going for.
Oh, and he 100% knew what he was going for.
I think what's really special about your role and anyone who worked with him or anyone that works with an artist like that is instead of, you could have easily just rolled your eyes at a lot of the things he was particular about.
No, but I get it.
But you get it and you're also respectful of it.
Yes.
People who are that way, I'm like super OCD, that have, instead of like, oh gosh, it's like, this is who I am. And like, I don't know. I just
Please
think
accept it. And if you don't accept it, there's a bus leaving over that way.
It's just like, that's interesting. But it's also that he probably had a little too much of a control problem if he was concerned about what the crew was eating. That's a little concerning.
Yeah. It's like, well, and we could, Alicia was great. I absolutely love. I'd fast forward into like my Black Sabbath, Ronnie James Dio stuff. And Ronnie was like touring with a family member. The nicest person. Like he would give the time of day to, like you'd have some people stand out there. And even if he knew they were like autographed to sell, he would take the time of day to talk to absolutely everybody. He was that, and it was genuine.
Yeah,
it was
so
like
cool.
his fans. He was genuine about it. And I'll never forget, this is another tip to drivers out there, and I teach it in the course, is like you learn about your artists and then offer whatever it is. Ronnie tested me on this a couple of times, but he loved antique stores, right? So what I would do is I'd always find out where there's antique stores that are close by going on route. And there was this one time, and he bought me, I have a guitar that he bought me. It's a Dan Electro, and he signed it. My nickname with him was called Mudcat, and I could go into it, but he called me Mudcat. And I never forget, he'd sit in the jump seat. And then there was this one time he goes, Neville, any antique stores around here? And I'd be like, yeah, there's one. I mean, it's a little off the route, but we can go. Okay. Are we going? No. Testing me. Like just going like, oh, because I'm spoiling these people.
Yeah, man.
You know, it was like with Prince, it was Java Juice and then it was vegetarian restaurants. And then he'd ask, you know, is there something around, and then not want to go. It was like, what do you, just, okay.
But be prepared. It's just
100%
take that next extra multiple miles to
right.
Give,
and it might not even be used, but at least you're prepared for it.
And that is something that people they might start that way and then they'll fall off. So that's
never fall off. And I think that taught me, like when I got into operations manager, and like this weekend I had the phone, I had a couple curveballs thrown at me where I had to find a driver to fly to Boise right away. And then I had a bus replacement that I had to take care of on Sunday. And of course I have a great team that just jumps in on that. But what I found, and I've said this to Wayne, our leasing manager, multiple times, and even my wife, is like, if I have the phone on the weekend, I take my laptop and I have it pre-set up with like truck breakdown, the GPS, like the thing, it's called Samsara. So I could just hit a space bar and I know where all the things, the more I'm prepared, the less Murphy's Law comes in and tries to deliver papers.
There it is.
So it works. But the day where I'm like too busy to do it, those are the ones where I'm getting, and that's why like this weekend, that's when I got the curveballs, because I was at Polestar. Yeah. I'm at the Sphere. There's no laptop. I'm not really prepared. Mm-hmm. So God in his ultimate wisdom goes, okay, let's see if
they're prepared. See if they can handle it.
See how good this guy can do when he's not prepared.
And boom, he was.
Well, I can, but
what? Okay, we're actually running out of time, which sucks because we could seriously just keep going and going and going. What advice would you have? I think I can kind of think about it as you've just shared a lot. But any advice that for anyone new coming into this industry to know about being a tour bus driver? Anyone
that's a commercial driver, and I say that to, if you know any commercial drivers, number one, get them to read my book, and then hopefully they take the course, the 30-day onboard course. The most important thing, this is another acronym that I've trademarked, it's called FUEL. Mm-hmm. It's focus, uplift, energy, and leverage. And focus basically stands for when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing as a bus driver, you're navigating and doing logistics. So you're focused on what you're doing there. Uplift is being positive about it. No one wants to be around a Debbie Downer. Be positive. There's always a light signal flow, right? Mm. So being uplift, being energetic, getting your rest, being healthy. You know, those kind of things, having that type of mindset and that type of energy. Yeah. And then leverage. Leverage is knowledge. Leverage means knowing your bus, knowing the equipment, taking time to figure out do I got a Pioneer or do I got a Harman Kardon or am I using, Starlink or is it an old school satellite? Yeah, wow. Know your stuff. Know how to operate that stuff. And that leverage, when I teach this FUEL program in my course, leverage is also knowing 401ks, knowing, do I want to invest my money in housing or do I want to invest in real estate? Especially as us road family, when we're on the road, we're paying a mortgage for a free storage unit is kind of almost like it is. So to me, it's like, Paul Scott is a guitar player, used to play for Low Cash. He's now in real estate, and he and I have kind of teamed up to help educate drivers into or road people or crew of buying, say, a double, an attached, and then rent out one half and you take another one, or even buying a small four thing apartment and you just accumulate. Your storage unit is one, but you got 3 other units paying for your thing. So being smart like that. And Rachel Bornstein, right? Life's Jam. It's the same. She's a financial coach. So that's the leverage part, looking after so that you're not 70 years old and you still have to go out and work. Yes. Balance so that you can, I'm not saying you don't have to go out and work, but go out and work because you want to, not because you have to.
We'll have to get you on a mentor masterclass of some kind. There's so much more to talk about. Yeah. But your book, let's plug it real quick.
Yes. This is the one
that
you have.
The Entertainer, Bus Driver, and Inside Look Concert Tour Transportation.
It's amazing. A gem for any of your commercial drivers that are thinking that are running. Even if you're working for Amazon, but you've seen the big buses roll down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Or your drive truck and you've seen these beautiful, trucks going down the road in production and they got, Jake Owen on the side or something. You'd have to take this first and then the chorus, and you will be good.
You're awesome, man.
You will
Thank you so much. This
Thanks
is
for having me.
I appreciate you.
This is awesome.
You're the best. Wow. Thank
Love
you.
you.
Love you.
You're awesome.